So sorry for the time and delay and whatnot. This is Skinny Ebert back again. I wanted to discuss a little bit about the new BBFC guidelines that I've just read out. I'm very intrigued at how they're approaching things at this moment right now in terms of their policies related to the depiction of sexual violence, rape and sexual assault, in other words, and also sex references. In many ways, this is a very great response in relation to the Me Too movement and Time's Up, which have been making a lot of press and discussion on social media and in televised news for the past year and a few months, with people like Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, and including the President of the United States, Jeffrey Rush, Brett Ratner. The list of names goes on. It doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon, so I think the guidelines themselves are sort of a reflection upon that. Even if they are already tough on the matter, I'm actually kind of grateful that they're even becoming even tough on the matter, because for most people, they don't really want to see someone being assaulted like that. It disturbs them, it terrifies them. Usually for most people, rape is not a funny matter, nor does it even try to be. I know, you have your, South Park and your Family guys that try to make light of dark subjects, but for the most part, most people do not think that sort of thing is funny, so I think it's kind of a reflection on that, for that matter. As far as other issues are concerned, they haven't really tapped in towards discussions toward violence and language, drug use, mature themes, discrimination, which all have been issues that have been, largely the focus of these guidelines, changing every 4 to 5 years. This is just a new set of approach that's going on in place, but I think this one makes it very special because the media itself and what's going on in the political arena and the rise of streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime have pinpointed in its place a solid reason for why certain things are the way they are, why certain people are shocked and surprised in certain ways compared to others. So I just think it's kind of a reflection upon that. Overall, I'm not going to comment too much because, Britain's standards tend to be a little bit different from the rest of the others compared to their European counterparts, particularly France, which is very much laissez-faire in terms of what you can or cannot show, including scenes of sex or violence. What might be appropriate for 18 or 15-year-olds might necessarily be appropriate for 12-year-olds or even all ages in France. As far as, the comparisons to the US system, the MPAA, depends really. I know on sex and nudity they tend to be a bit more, accepting of that sort of thing on the matter. They're more likely to give film that has breasts a 12 than in America, where they usually will give that sort of thing an R rating. But for that matter, the main difference right there has to be with the horror films themselves, usually which will receive a 15 or an 18, depending on how things turn out. Especially if it's a gory film, it'll be an 18. If it's supernatural, it's usually a 15. While in America, it might receive a PG-13. You think of films like The Woman in Black, for instance, Sixth Sense, in Cloverfield. These are all PG-13s in the US, but, with the exception of The Woman in Black, which was cut from a 15 to a 12A, all of those films I've just mentioned in its uncut form, because the supernatural set was too strong, are relegated usually at the higher category, which goes to show differences of opinion at stake here. So that's it. I hope, wish the best for the BBFC, and I hope to keep reading their reports and guidelines and so on and so forth, and input my voice on it. I'm sure you will too, because I know when I filled out the guidelines research survey last year, I was very vocal about particular titles that, if I can tip on the top of my tongue, like Red Sparrow, for instance, that came out a little bit early last year, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and a few others. that you probably might not have heard of, but I have, like Compliance and Sightseers, which I thought, even their respective categories, were too graphic or too strong for its intended audience. I'm glad they kind of took a note, but I wish I was, one of the people at the survey being shown the clips of certain films and then making a decision upon there, like, okay, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good. That would have been a lot more interesting than me filling it out on a computer. But, maybe the time will come. Maybe because I'm not a parent is probably why they thought, what does he know? What does he have to say? But I think that's, for another time. So I hope you like this video, and feel free to subscribe for more great content as you go on, okay? Till then, keep on watching.